Hey, how y'all doing? How your
Good,
mama doing?
good evening, beloveds.
Good evening, Zoo.
Good
Hello,
evening.
this is Sugar Snap.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good
Hey,
evening. I love your moo. She's very moo. She's very festive. We're both giving festive color schemes
I
today.
mean, this whole thing, I think this is
Right. Just a little something.
one of my performance days or something. Yeah, that's all it was. That's all.
Exactly. Do I see a little sparkle on her?
Listen, Minga Mallory, that's the bestie. Come on, bitch. What's going on? Hey. So yeah, just a little something. I was feeling a little, it was one of them days you come home and you want to go ahead and take your shirt off, and when you take that shirt off, get that foundation garment all the way together, so for it'll be bras and tight shirts, and it says pop 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 pop, and I said I just need to let them run free like yard dogs.
Bam. Just like Kiki Wyatt was last week.
We're gonna get into that.
I've got stories.
Lord have mercy. So yeah, that's kind of where we are. Today is Wednesday,
September 13th.
13th.
Hey, Lola.
It is 2 days after 9/11. So for those that were celebrating, not celebrating, but doing
remembering
services and remembering those we lost, just want to keep that in mind. I see Lola and I also see Desmond, and hey y'all, but also Lola, didn't you just break your foot or something? Didn't you just do something?
Yeah, I saw that post and was like, good Lord, come on, baby.
Yeah, like didn't you do something? Like, what is going on? Keep us posted on what's going on, because I'm trying to figure out what that is. So I see Dylan. Hey Dylan. So Dylan, Des, Lola, Eric, Mrs. Sugar Snap. Okay, there we go. All right, everybody. Okay. So
The gang's all here.
Yeah, the gang's all here. It was listen, come here. Listen. Yeah, whatever. Bring your ass on. You want to get come on. So I just need to listen. I need to put this face on your radar once again. My child, she is now a teenager. See her right? Y'all see her? She's trying to bite me. She's a teenager. Little Miss Ratchet wants to run out the door when the door open. Because I told y'all I saw this little tomcat or little, cat around the neighborhood coming, and he was meowing at like 3-4 o'clock in the morning in the hallway. I guess that was the call of the kitty cat cunts or something. I don't know what that was. But all I know is my cat has been acting out, and so I'm ready for her engine to be snatched out pretty soon. But yes, she's been acting out. So every time I open the door, she's been running out the door. She's been trying to follow behind people. She's been jumping up on me, and she had a little bit of an attitude. She did something. I swatted her. Then she came behind me. She swatted me on the back. I said, "Oh, you little bitch! Oh, you little bitch!" So,
beat her.
If they call the Peoples, and you see the news articles with Epic on the front there because they didn't call the Peoples, do know that that's why I'm calling the Peoples. So, but anyway, let's get this started how we always get this started. We'll talk about these weeks and how the weeks were. So
yeah, we also want to say hello to Desmond and Dylan. So, and we want to welcome all of our friends from Facebook. We're going back to streaming on the Book of Faces for a little bit to let y'all see what things we're doing here now that we are 230 episodes into the BGKH show.
I just believe we're at 230. Like, it's just a lot.
I know.
Jeez.
It seems like only last week we were at 229.
Or we had our good studio manager. What was his name again? Bruce? Russell? Randy? Jehovah? Mustafa?
That guy.
Anyway, he was a lovely young man. He
was a lovely man, yes.
Yeah, he was pretty fun to work with, actually. He was pretty goddamn funny. But yeah. So anyway.
Get him for $50 a month.
Um,
Well, so anyway,
so yes. So last week. As we talked about last week on the show, just so y'all know, last week was my actual grandmother's funeral, and I'm very appreciative of all of you that sent some very kind words and shared well wishes. And I'm gonna use this time to thank both my baristas very sincerely and very wholeheartedly. I am very thankful that both of you were there. I know you all knew her and you all are part of my family, but you also know that, well, it's one of the unspoken rules. Like, y'all know y'all was there for backup just in case we had to fight. We already knew that.
So was there a fight?
No. There was no fight. There was no
Boo.
fight. There was no fight.
You needed a story. So first of all, did you wear the blue?
So but I'm gonna add this piece.
Okay, sorry, I interrupted your story. Go ahead.
No, but listen. So I'm gonna add this piece. No, there was no fight. But see, here's the thing. This is how, just like cells and the life cycle of cells and how they, you have one person to feed off of the other and everybody does everything. Listen, we work as a 3. So one would have went left, everybody else went left. And this is what I know about my sisters. They don't give a fuck who is there, what was gonna go on, but I wasn't getting ready to touch. I don't know who you are, bitch, but we're not even ready to do that. Which is the same thing. Like, I don't know everybody at the family, but listen, this is what I do know. Ain't nobody touching none of these motherfuckers while I'm standing here. But anyway, enough of that. So I'm sorry. Let me go back to the more positive stuff. And I know we're on a different platform at this point, so I'm trying to be.
No, girl, you can say whatever the fuck you want. We just,
Absolutely, that is
true. Fuck, dick, ass, fuck.
So, all right. So, made it up to the funeral. Thanks to good old Waze for some strange reason. Like, I actually set my Waze to not go to toll roads. It wound up taking us out the way a little bit. But
I was packed, loaded, and ready with my tight black see-through dress with my ass out. Listen, Bougie is not a die. We love it.
Listen, that's that new action hero, Bougie. That's what her name is. But so we got there a little bit late. Left up on a parking space right then and there. I got in late, about 25 minutes. I got in there a little bit late. And
you arrived late to something?
It was not a movie. It was not a flight. And it was not a concert.
It was your grandmama's funeral.
It most certainly was. And I was late. And she knew I was going to be late. She knew me. Now, but also she knows the rest of the family too, because we didn't start on time. So
there you go. So ultimately it canceled out.
So it was basically like, I think they were like 10 minutes late and I was like 20 minutes late, but whatever. It's just okay. Anyway. So
somebody got something to say. Somebody got something to say.
Wait. Oh, yes, Bougie. I arrived late. But you know who else who never arrived?
This is awkward.
So we're gonna go ahead and continue with my story right now. It's my story right now.
Yes, please continue with your story.
Before the meatballs and Dwayne's at the rematch. Girl, no, wait, no, I got a story about that too, but hold on. So, okay. So got there. So there's a part of me that I saw my grandmother, and I spoke to her and everything. But I also know that my grandmother lost a lot of weight. And so she became this really very small, tiny woman. She was already short. And I don't want to remember that. I want to remember how I remembered her, which was a picture of her on the front of the obituary. And so I was happy about that. So closing the casket and all that type of stuff, I really kind of didn't want to be there for that, but it's okay. So because I got there about 20 minutes after the supposed start time, I got there. I didn't want to walk up to the front and make a scene, so I stayed in the back. The good thing is I got to hang out with my cousin who just came home, and so while we were back there, we were just doing our normal thing of just kind of having small conversations and like what's going on? What's that? So we was having those types of conversations. To my left was my barista Eric, and then to the right of me was my barista Desmond. They was sitting over in the corner. So a couple of my cousins came through and all that good stuff. and I'm just looking at them. Some I hadn't seen in God knows how long, and just a whole bunch of stuff. So I was in the back, happy to be a part of that because I was able to have some conversation with people.
Right
now, my family was sitting up front, and it was my aunt and my uncle and my other uncle, and then their kids and everybody. So it was like, all right, cool, fine, whatever. I waited until the end of the service, and as they walked out, I stood on the side because once again, I didn't want to be in the midst of making a scene. So I saw my cousins. I reached out to some of them, and shook hands, hugged, side hugged a couple people and everything. My uncle came by, shook his hand, side hugged him, and then my other uncle came by, and he was in a conversation. So I just kind of turned around and kept on doing what I was doing. I go outside, and my uncle's standing there, the one who I haven't spoken to. And so I walked over to him and I was like, hey, so I walked over to him.
Mallory said he got some fine ass cousins. Did y'all take pictures? Are y'all that kind of family that take pictures at a funeral?
I did not. Some people may have, but I did not. The majority of people did.
I would like to know your opinion on that because I think that's tacky.
I don't necessarily know if I think it's tacky, but I definitely don't want that to be the last memory I have of a person. If you're taking pictures of the person in the casket,
no, that is just beyond the pale.
Yeah,
like cheese. I mean, maybe at the repast when y'all back at Big Mama's house, but at the actual funeral, people taking selfies and all that shit. Yeah, that's
now. Yeah. And some of my cousins that showed up, some of my cousins' children's and cousins' children and cousins' grandchildren came in with some biker tights on and some sneakers and shit, and I was just kind of like.
People don't have formal clothes and don't know how to dress for an event anymore.
Dear God, I couldn't get myself together. But listen, they mamas and they grandmamas is here, so I listen. I ain't got no babies, so I'm good. I was in a suit that I didn't particularly care for because I don't know what it is about me in this black suit. I don't particularly care for it, but it is what it is. But baby, I was in a suit, and that's where I was standing at.
Hey, Michelle.
Hey, Michelle, and so it was cool, and like I said, I was fine the entire ceremony until that damn boy started singing. He started singing. I was like, God damn it! I'm sitting there fighting, and I'm like, okay, whatever. And it was fine. Huh?
Was it like this? Why should I feel discouraged? And why should the shadows come? And why should my heart be lonely?
Itch it.
And why should the shadows?
You better hold it, goddamn no. You better hold it.
When Jesus is my portion. The reason I'm doing that is because I have a story about my weekend that's going to tie into that perfectly. So please continue.
Okay.
So you got emotional. I'm just trying to lighten the mood. This is what we do.
Listen, I'm good. One of my portions, I think, well, maybe both. I don't know, but I keep trying to tell my sisters, I'm like, listen, I am fine. Like, I did not have that breakdown. It doesn't mean I'm not going to have it. I had a slight, moment or whatever, but it's okay. And it's going to happen whenever it happens, but I am okay. I just want them to understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But, and anyway, I understand it coming from a place of love and concern.
Hold on, please. First of all, Desmond said, Jesus done left. I was like, that's rude. That is rude.
Spot the lie.
Jesus is my Porsche. Jesus is my Porsche.
Shut up. y'all are goofy. Anyway, okay.
Mhm.
All right, okay.
It's a serious moment. It's a serious moment. Okay.
It's a serious moment. So I think as I explained to you all at the last week that I was told that we were not having a repast. My aunt did not want to have a repast, and she was not. So when I got the information about the funeral, and then I was like, okay, great. Somewhere between the time I got the information about the funeral and somewhere by the time I showed up, they had set a whole plan in motion about having a repast. Well, baby, I had already made plans. I had already made plans at that point.
So I'm headed down to the threaded needle.
Listen, I had already made my plans and I was already going. It was me and my sisters was going to go and sit on down and have a moment, and that's what we was going to do, and that's what I planned on doing. So I ran to a couple of my aunts, and I was saying hi to them. My mom's girlfriends that she's known for this, like, second, third, fourth grade, all type of stuff. So they aunties. I'm like, hey, what's going on? How y'all doing? I shared with one of them about my picture, a favorite picture of my mom and her best friend. And I was telling her, I was explaining to her how this picture kind of represented like me and all of my besties. And so she got to meet them. And so like it was one of those type of things. I was happy about all that stuff. But we left. We went on over to the motherfucking Lone Star. We went to go have some brunch, and me and my sister sat. And we just had sister talk. We just had sister time. We would just sit there laughing and joking and bonding and everything else. We had a good time. I wound up bumping into somebody I went to elementary school and junior high school with, and I was like, "What the fuck?" So I was like, "Where the fuck?" I was like, "What?" But anyway, and I sent y'all that picture because I have this picture of this guy and another guy where it was the original and the great value version. I was trying to explain that to them, and it's in this picture. I sent it over to them, but we'll talk about that later. But anyway, so then I had a call from, I'm sorry. I had a text message from someone that I've been friends with since second grade, and his name is Dana, and we refer to each other as, he refers to me first as his MOB, my oldest Betty. So we always kind of think we call each other MOBs and, that sort of thing. So he had said to me, he had also had some surgery and some other stuff. And so I was telling him what was going on. And he's like, listen, I need you to come by my house. Just come. And, but I was like, okay, I'm coming up. I said, but listen, I was like, but I got my sister with me. She's coming with me. We're coming up the road. And he said, what else? Just come in and we'll talk. It's, maybe 45 minutes or something. I'm like, okay, all right, fine. Cool. I texted when I was there and I was like, hey, just so you know, Eric rode up with me. And he's like, what does that mean to me? I was like, I'm saying he rode up with me. So if you're talking about coming in the house and if you're having some issues with your face and you're upset with surgery and all that type of stuff, like, what, just I'm giving you a heads up. So when I got to the place, I rang the doorbell. He came downstairs. He met us downstairs. Now listen, for me, he looked fine because his jaw had already been wired shut for about 2 or 3 weeks. He had lost probably about like 30 pounds because all he's drinking is like, Ensure or Lucerne and all that type of stuff. So, it's like, all right, fine.
He had his jaw wired shut on purpose to lose weight, or this was because of an accident or something?
Because of all the surgery that he had going on. He had some cysts or some stuff and they break, they all this other stuff. So, okay. So he comes downstairs and, in a very typical him fashion, he's like, hi, hey, nice to meet you. He's like, do you mind if I borrow him for a couple of minutes? Do you want to talk? It's like, I just, and of course, Eric's like, have fun, go, cool, whatever. So I gave Eric my keys. I'm thinking, okay, we're going to probably go sit in the car. We'll probably, maybe, try to get in the car. And I'm like, okay, I'm trying to figure out like what's going on. So he's asking me what's going on. He's trying to talk to me. And I'm like, okay, girl, like, I'm trying to like, girl, what is it? Like, what's going on? Is something wrong? Like, what?
Really?
So I said to him, I was like, girl, so what's going on? He's like, no, girl, this is not about me. It's about you. And I'm like, girl, like, I'm sitting there thinking you're trying to tell me something went on. So he starts telling me a story about what happened during surgery and everything else. I was like, okay, all right, cool. So I'm thinking like, oh my God, I'm feeling bad about what happened and all these different things. And I'm like, okay, so we're going to come to the cliffhanger. Like, where's the cliffhanger? Like, where are we? So, what? That's it.
I'm just here to support you.
I was like, okay. Now I'm sitting there because now I'm realizing now I'm looking at the time. We've been going for like a fucking hour. Now Eric is sitting in the car like by himself. Now listen, I love my sister. And I know my sister. And I know she on here, so I'm not going to speak out of turn. But I know she was pissed.
She was just let me in the car. Did you at least leave him the keys so he could have the AC on?
She was pissed. I know. But bitch, I was just, and I kept telling him, I was like, bitch, I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't know that's what was going to go on. He was like, bitch, you tried it. I was like, so I was like, okay, girl. So we driving out the city. He just said that he's still looking at his phone. Bitch, it was tight in that car for about 15, 20 minutes.
He was like,
because I know he was mad. But bitch, I'm sorry. I didn't know. So lo and behold.
Okay, bitch. All right, I'm fine now.
So it was but lo and behold, Des called and he was just checking to see where we were. So after I explained to him what happened,
we was almost out of gas.
So when Des called, he was like, "What's going on?" I'll explain to him what happened. He was like, "Oh." So then you know, listen, that's my sister. I can't stay mad at her for long. We can't, you know, even if the three of us have had this conversation. Like, bitch, I wasn't speaking to you last week. I ain't feel like talking to you. You ain't know it yet, but I ain't speaking to you. So everybody's good. So it was all good. But again, I'm publicly and sincerely apologizing because I really didn't know all that was going to go on. But it was absolutely hilarious, just how everything went down.
Right.
So that pretty much was the week. Now, some quotable notables. I had my one cousin walk past me and didn't speak. Now, listen, she was already on my list. And she is owed.
And now she's moved up the list.
Yeah, like she was owed a treat. But now I was like, okay. I was like, it's okay. Maybe I'm glad I didn't have this conversation, or maybe I'm glad it wasn't, because I kept looking at what she had on. I was kind of like, girl, what the fuck do you have on? Like, I'm trying to love you as a family member, but baby, these biker pant frilly thing with the boots turned down and the cuff over the.
What you want to a funeral?
It's me. Maybe it's me. I'm old and I can't quite understand it because I just.
No, the kids don't dress up for funerals and shit anymore like they used to.
Yeah, it's me, and that's it. And hey, Spiller Boy, and then the other one just came in. So I finally had a conversation with him as well, just to check in, because I wanted to make sure everybody knew that I'm fine. I had moments like everybody else does, but I was fine. But for all in all, for the purpose of the weekend and the purpose of the funeral, everything went well, but I did not go to the repast. So as I was explaining to Spill It Boy, I am not okay with not being okay that my phone rang and it's a family member. Like, just the idea when my phone rings and it's a family member, I always instantly become not okay. And I'm not okay with that. Because I'm like, what the fuck you want now? Like, what is the issue now? Like, what is the issue? Like, that's kind of what I'm thinking. And I feel a little triggered with that. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, so when my cousin called me, I was like, I'm not okay with not being okay that my cousins called me. Like, like that was annoying me. So when I finally got her on the phone, we were able to talk, she basically asked the question. She was like, well, why didn't you come to the funeral? I was like, well, I didn't really want to come. But then also I said the energy was a little weird. It was a little off because my mother wasn't there. And it wasn't necessarily about her not being there physically. It was about her not being there mentally and understanding what's going on and me trying to help her through that. Like, that's kind of what I was thinking. She was like, oh, well, it's a shame he wasn't there. But, it was nice. She would have had a good time and everybody would have. I was like, okay, well, I'm glad. That's good. I'm glad. But when does that stop? When do people stop asking you questions as if you are 5 or 7 and like you're supposed to do something? Like, when does that happen?
Well,
like,
I don't think it ever stops, because in a lot of family members' minds, you're still that 5 or 7-year-old, despite the fact that you are 52 years old. They still relate to you. Was this cousin older than you?
Yeah,
and if it's an older cousin, I don't, even if you're like only 5 years older, but if they're like adult older than you, if they were like adults when you were a kid, they will forever see you as a child. You could be 72 and they could be 95 and they're still going to treat you like you were 10 years old again. And they'll start, I've had to check a few family members. They start talking to me any old kind of way. I was like, excuse you? I am 43 years old. But first of all, I don't really like none of y'all like that too tough. So all of this respect for elders and all that bullshit, I don't really fuck with most of that. So, because I don't know you well enough to give a shit about you to respect you. But you're just not going to talk to me. I didn't appreciate it when I was 12, but I'm not going to tolerate it when I'm 42. So
listen. And at this particular point, the way that I could, for me, the way that I can just show you that I really don't like, I don't really give a fuck is this, if I just don't hang out. Like I don't hang out, I don't come around. And when I do, it's like it's very transactional in a sense. Like I'm there for a reason and let's go. And I used to love to hang out with them and just do stupid shit. And so it's kind of like, nah, I don't really want to do all that. Like I'm good. And plus, here's the other thing. And I think a lot of people experience this, especially when their families are in one place and they're in another. They expect you when you come home to come and do everything, come and ride all over the goddamn city to go see everybody and to do everything. Baby, I'm not doing that. My aunt texts me on the road up. Well, Miss Shirley needs a ride down to the place. Miss Shirley lives, first of all, I'm coming into the city from the south. And literally, I'm 2 blocks
all
up.
All your family lives in Philadelphia. Why couldn't one of them pick her up?
And she lives across the street from my aunt. I'm like, listen, girl, you want me to go past where I'm going to come pick her up, then to bring her back down here, then at the end of the day, bring her back up there, and then I got to go back down again?
I'd have been like, my car's already full. I can't do it.
I'm not doing that. And so when I saw the message, I just ignored it. But I was like, okay, but I had to really think about that. And I was like, well, I was already driving, and I was like, I was going to be late anyway. So I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm like, no, and I finally saw at the funeral. I was like, girl, I was already on the road. She was like, oh, yeah, I figured. I was like, okay. But I'm not doing that.
No.
So, again, I appreciate my sisters hanging out with me and spending the day. It made it a very pleasant experience. And we already have instructions. We've had these conversations about instructions about what needs to happen and everything. And so we already, all that type of stuff, we already know that. So but everybody did what they're supposed to do, and I will as well. The only reason that Spiller Boy didn't come is because I really didn't say to him they need to come. I'm not going to make him do that. And I know he would, because I would, and I have, but I wasn't going to make him do that. Like that was good. And that was another one that all of them really need to be paid attention to when it comes to, throwing some hands every now and then. Because, listen, there ain't nobody afraid of a fight. So I tend to pride myself on the majority of people I hang around. While they may not be their first resort, but they can throw some hands.
Mm-hmm.
So, but other than that, and I'm ended on a very pleasant note. Everything went well. Everything was fine. It was a beautiful ceremony. It was a beautiful weekend. I spent some time with some family and some friends that, and I'm good. I came back to work. I'm good. So that was my weekend, and I rambled on about that for 30 minutes, but that was it. But I had a good time. So these thunderstorms that have been going on have been a little crazy for me. And like I said, my cat is now, she's becoming a disrespectful young lady, and how disrespectful she's laid out on this floor. Like she even worked 2 jobs and she all stretched out with her head up. Disrespectful little thing. But anyway, other than that, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. How was your week?
My week was, work was work. I really, I need to figure out and carve a path to align to somewhere else within the place where I work. And that will happen over time. So just to explore other opportunities. But the Bristas were in town this weekend, Volt and Isu. And this weekend is the Usher. That's what the kids are calling it now, but Volt hates that. the U.S. Conference on HIV and AIDS. So, the kids like to have names, everything. It was like, no, it's just USCHA, but sure. So he invited me to a Fancy Negro event at the National African American Museum of History and Culture called In Black Women We Trust. So, I threw on cute little matching vest and pants and a little collared shirt and went on down to hang with the who's who of the what's what.
You threw on Fancy Negro on the go. Look, that's what you did. You was like, Fancy Negro on the go.
That's what I gave. And so, the decor ranged from hobo chic homosexual to fancy homosexual to look at me homosexual.
Look at me.
Baby, this girl came out. She had on this chiffon satin number that was, I was like, oh, you you have on an outfit. You really, that is an ensemble. And the hairy chest and the pearls, serving it. Yes. Yes. You are serving it, girl. Serving it. And actually, he looked fine. I just am being catty because, if you don't have anything nice to say, come sit by me. So this whole night is about, if you don't have anything nice to say, come sit by me. So this event is called In Black Women We Trust. So, the panel was Black women, the host was a Black woman, maybe 60% or so of the audience was Black women. Shout out to our good Brista Dominique, who was in the audience looking stunning.
Did you get to see? Did she see you? Did you get to speak?
Yeah, because I had known that she was going to be there because she had posted that she was going to some event, and I was like, "Is this a Fancy Negro event at the museum?" And we compared notes and found out we was at the same event, and we happened to be like one table across. So I looked up and saw her, and she saw me, and we caught eyes and exchanged some tea, and then so the event sort of went on. So
Gotcha.
On stage was this woman, Robin something, blah blah blah, who's been like she's like a well-known Black news anchor in Chicago. So she was like the MC of the evening.
Okay.
In the audience to my right was the head table that had the senior vice president for whatever from Gilead, who was sponsoring the event, and Cheryl Lee Ralph. And, Cheryl Lee Ralph had apparently done, because this was like the whole theme of the conference. So Cheryl Lee Ralph had spoke at some gospel brunch earlier in the day. She was the keynote for that, along with Yolanda Adams, who sang with the Morgan State University choir. But that was during the day. So I'm only telling you this because that's what people told me. I didn't go to that. So anyway, the panel was Ruby Bridges, Hope Giselle, who is a trans woman, who is also like a model and and this woman named Deirdre Speaks, who apparently has like a podcast and all this other stuff. So I'm going to
Deirdre is trans, isn't she?
What?
Is Deirdre trans?
No, she's heterosexual. So her story is that she found out that she was HIV positive when she was pregnant or something like that. Okay. So anyway, I'm just going to say that she's apparently a well-known blogger and personality, but remember, I'm just being me. These do not represent the opinion of anybody, but she seemed to be very in love with her own thoughts and perceptions. And she clearly did not know who Hope Giselle was. And, because like she would ask questions and she would be like, "So Ruby, what do you think of the color purple?" And then Ruby would give some answer, and Giselle would just be sitting there looking, like stunning and gorgeous. Giselle is beautiful, all mocha colored, melanin popping, and legs just a glistening and a glowing and looking fabulous. And just sitting there, and like Ruby would give her answer. I'm gonna get to her in a minute. And then she'd be like, "Oh yeah, and Giselle or Hope, what do you think about the same issue?" So it kind of felt to me like
thought, and she had no idea.
Because and even like the question that she asked Hope was just like the most generic, "Tell us about your experience as a trans woman." I'm like, girl, these questions were like, they weren't groundbreaking. This was not any groundbreaking. And I don't know that they were necessarily there. I don't know what they told this woman about what kind of questions they were supposed to ask, whatever. But I was like, okay, sure. Hope told stories about her specific journey to womanhood, and that really seemed to resonate with the audience. There was a lot of trans women in the audience, and even those who weren't trans women. There were lots of gays, lots of non-binary people, and lots of just women in general, Black women, and they really seemed to resonate with this what Hope had to say, but they spent a lot of time with Ruby. And so here is my problem with Ruby. Ruby Bridges was a letdown to me.
Well, hold up. But I mean, first of all, let's. Some people may not know who Ruby is.
Ruby Bridges is the little 6-year-old girl that's in the famous paintings who integrated the school in Little Rock with all the people yelling at her.
And some people may not know, but right. I also feel, even though she's had an amazing career within education,
she though? Has she though?
Well, because she got her doctorate, I think. Didn't she get her doctorate or something? I think
we ain't talking about none of that.
But anyway, she's had an amazing career, but she has been. I don't think much of this was her choice. And
that's the whole point. And so it was the way that she framed it, right?
Yeah.
Because the softball question to her was, take us back to that day in 1952. What was going through your mind then? See, and basically her answer was something along the lines of she went to school that day because her mama told her to. And, they didn't give her parents, this was her words, not me, editorializing. Her parents apparently did not give her any background or warning on what the fuck was going to go on at the school that day. They just told her to get her ass up and go to school. And you fought, it was the 50s. You 6 years old, your mama say, get your ass up and go to school. You got your ass up and go to school. So she was not expecting all of that went down. And so she saw it through a child's perception. She saw it as, okay, well, these people are screaming just like they do at Mardi Gras because she's from New Orleans. And, so she thought it was like Mardi Gras at first. So she didn't really understand what was going on. But then she kept using the word obedient, like in a religious sense. Like she kept saying, I was obedient to my parents. And, all of the Christians, like, yes, you was obedient. Yes, Lord. And she was like, and I have been spent my whole life being obedient. And I was just like, I'm not a woman. I'm a lady. I'm not a woman. I'm one of the girls. No, I'm not one of the girls. I'm not one of those.
I am one of the girls, honey, because I will sit down and kiki with all of the girls. I'm one of the girls.
I mean, I am one of the girls then, I guess. And but I was like, I'm not a woman, so these messages were not for me. But the theme of the thing was, in Black women, we trust. So I thought that we were supposed to get inspiring messages for Black women because, statistics tell us that Black women made up 60. This is the U.S. Conference on HIV and AIDS. Black women made up at least 60% of new HIV infections in 2021. So it's about an AIDS conference. So people want to be inspired to do activist work and all of that. And, maybe they're inspired to, maybe they got HIV because they were on drugs or they had a partner who was on the DL or any other way that, they sort of came to that. Or maybe they were trans women and, how we as, Black people treat the gays and the trans people and the non-binary folks in our community. So I was just sort of turned off by this whole religious-y message because it reminds me of when if you go to some people and tell them you have a problem, they was like, you just need to pray on it. I was like, bitch, I just told you I was hungry, that I need food and I have no money. Praying on it is not going to put food in my belly or money in my pocket. Or if people say, I remember I had a car, I got in a car accident when I was in college. Right. And this car basically, well, no, I didn't actually get into the car, or did I? Yes, he did. I didn't have no insurance. So and he sideswiped my little beat up raggedy ass car, so it was just slightly more beat up and raggedy than it was before. And I was like on my way to church or something, and when I told people, it was like, thank God Jesus saved you from the accident. And I was like, did he though? I mean, because if Jesus really wanted to save me, Jesus knew I ain't have no money, like no money. Like I was on the verge of being kicked out of where I live. That little car had like 10 cents of gas in it. And, you know,
not 10 cents.
Well, you know, back then 10 cents of gas actually took you a little
way. 10 cents of gas will get you around the corner. What you talking about?
Place. But you know, and so they were like, you know, Jesus saved you from an accident. I was like, well, if he really wanted to save me, or for something worse, it was like, if he really wanted to save me, it could have just not been an accident at all. So, like, to me, this whole sort of Christian-y pray it away, or, you know, whatever, I'm going to be obedient, I didn't feel like was the right message. But I'm not a woman. This conference was not about me. I was a 100% invited guest. So I drank these people free white wine and ate these people free food and, you know, sat there and sort of enjoyed myself. Now, at one point, that day was also Ruby Bridges' birthday.
Oh, dear God.
And so they invited this person on stage who said that they were non-binary, or we were sort of told that this person was non-binary and uses they, them pronouns, which Deidre went to great pains to tell us is like, they go by, they are gender non-conforming and they use they, them pronouns. Like to the and like people she said it like everybody in the audience was supposed to be like, ooh, but like to people in the audience, they were like, okay,
like get on. We're not gonna say her or him. We're gonna say they. We got it. Okay, thank you.
So they invite this person to the microphone, and Deirdre went on about how good of a singer that they were. So I was like, okay, we about to be blown away by this rendition.
Oh my God.
Happy birthday to you. And you know, he's doing that vibrato thing that people think makes them sound better, but when they can't sing, it just makes it worse. So there's like, happy birthday
so he's
to you. And I was like, you dragged this happy birthday out for like a full 2 minutes. And then of course,
he was giving early Beyonce tease. He was giving that Destiny Child like,
exactly. But exactly. And of course, I'm sitting here. To my left is Isu, and to my left, to the left of Isu.
Shut the hell up!
So,
shut the hell up!
When he started singing, I immediately grabbed Isu's thigh, or he was like, "Don't touch me! Don't touch me! Don't touch me!" Because I'm about to bust out laughing, and my husband is like a director in this company, and he just got this new job. So just don't.
Who?
I'm gonna leave that one alone. But so then that was that. Okay. So then Deidre did say something that I don't know if it was her creation or she had pulled it from somewhere. She said minutes plus or minus moments equal a lifetime. And I thought that was, you know, a little bit profound. Minutes plus or minus moments equals a lifetime, which I thought, you know, okay, yeah.
Okay, that's cute. Okay, I feel
right. And so back to Ruby Bridges for a moment. So she's given this whole, I'm being obedient to the cause or to Jesus or some shit. And in my uninformed survey of the room was split between people who was like, yes, obedience, yes, yes. And the rest of the people who was like, I'm not going to say nothing because I'm here and eating these people free food and drinking these people free wine. So I'm going to just sit here and she's a civil rights icon and I'm not going to say nothing. And so I'm just going to sit here and just drink this wine and be like, can I get a little bit more of this, please?
Listen, I'm laughing at you and Bougie Girl. Because all of a sudden she didn't all of a sudden get on the bandwagon talking about identifies 24 karat gold. My pronouns are bling and sparkle. Oh my God, I cannot go.
So then we had two performances. It was supposed to be Angie Stone, but Angie Stone's son got sick. That was the tea that I got from Dominique, because Dominique told me she said, okay, so the tea is, Angie Stone was supposed to perform, but her son got sick, so Kelly Price is going to perform. So Keke Wyatt comes out first, and so
wait a minute, we went from Angie to Kelly to Keke.
So I was, and so when Keke came out, Vogt looked at me and was like, "Your tea is sour," because he wasn't on the planning committee for this part of the event. He got his own stuff to do. So to me, this was my first time seeing Keke perform, and it was just
Miss Cuckoo is
she did a lot of screaming. But to me, that was just theatrics. It wasn't like, don't get me wrong. Miss Patty do a lot of screaming too. But first of all, it's always in tune and in key, which we can. And it's also in service of a song. Keke will just randomly start screaming. And, the audience is going in for it. And I'm just sitting there like.
So you were the Russian judge instead of me at that particular point.
100% the Russian judge. And she had on a corset that she kept. So when she came out at first, the corset was fully buttoned up. It was, it's laced up in the back, but it had like buttons or snaps in the front. Okay. And as she kept screaming, she kept undoing the buttons. So it was like maybe 10 buttons down the front. By the time she finished, it was like 2 buttons left, and she was spilling out of it. But I've never seen Keke in person, but I'm told that she's had butt work done, because, baby, she looked like an upside down pea.
Baby, listen, Keke Wyatt is an ad for why you should not get a BBL. Her ass.
Okay, just because it was just a jiggling and a moving. It was so big. And all of this surgery that she has had on her face.
Listen, she gives me early femme queen from Philadelphia, 1990s. Matter of fact, Desmond, you know exactly how I'm going to say. Miss motherfucking book bag. Miss motherfucking yes, Miss motherfucking book bag. That's what she gives me. That's a lot.
It is very that. And someone who I will not name commented that she looked like one of the girls.
That body is, and listen, I'm not even, the miracle of birth and life and all that good stuff, and however no, not Bubbles, Desmond, but the other one, book bag one, and when I said it was going to be around her ankles. She gives me very bad version of some of the girls that tried to do this work.
No, I know exactly what you mean. It's like, okay,
life
surgery has not settled, and she's got those artificially high cheekbones. And yes,
ding, Desmond, that's exactly what I'm talking about. But I know she's had plenty of babies, and I'm sure that they may have had some impact on maybe how she views her body, and in clothes versus out of clothes. Like, listen, we all got issues. I got my own issues with the skin stuff, and they're like, all that type of stuff. So I get it.
Hello, issues.
Listen, listen. It was given like polka dot all the way up.
Polka dot. Ah,
right, all up my back and everything. So it's like, you just come on by and play. But okay, it is what it is. But my whole point is, maybe that's something that she wanted to do to make herself feel better. But if that was the case, that's great. I'm happy for you. But baby, it still looks a little. It looks a little.
Yeah.
I don't know what the words are. It just looks a little.
It looks a little.
Yeah. It looks a little. That's it.
Yeah. And then, so after a brief intermission, they said, and now Oh, and plus they fucked Kiki's sound up. It never really went out, but the volume was low. So I think that was part of why she was screaming, because the volume was so low and she couldn't hear herself on the monitors. You know, it's like the speakers face towards you, like the monitors. So I don't think she could hear herself.
But they then turned her mic down low anyway because she's so loud.
Right. And then so after a brief intermission with a cute DJ turntable or whatever the fuck his name was, I don't remember. That's not important. Robin came back out and said, and now Kelly Price. And I was like, and I just happened to be standing right at the stage when she came out. And baby, she was just a sparkling and a turning. And so this is the difference between hollering, or it's the difference between screaming and hollering a song. Kiki Wyatt, to me, screamed.
Right.
Kelly Price hollered out some songs, and she turned the kids all the way out. And she sang one song and pointed to her man. She kept pointing to her man, who was this light-skinned dude with like a full beard that looked like he was no stranger to dick and ass. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying. He did not look like he was a stranger. I'm not saying that he looked like one of the girls. I'm just saying he looked like the type that likes big girls, but also likes big dudes too.
I mean, her husband. Well, I ain't going to roll that.
Something right. Kelly Price versus Jennifer Hudson. I mean, why we got to put them in competition? Why can't they just perform on the same stage and just have me sitting there in rapture?
Girl, I don't know, because
if I was forced to choose, I would choose J Hud every day, though.
Would you?
Yes.
Why? Because you feel like she's louder?
And
I'm trying to understand.
I just like the tone and quality of Jennifer Hudson's voice better.
Okay, well, you know what? Listen, everybody's, because there's certain things about Kelly Price that I love her growl and the way when she goes down the bottom, she does all that chewing gum as Philip Boy. That whole, I like that for her, and it's kind of like she's playing with the music. But hey, okay.
And yeah, I mean, and something to me, like I was on Instagram and they had some clip of Jennifer Hudson with her musical guest, and I just love how effortlessly Jennifer Hudson just sings, and like
effortless. Listen, she done lost 172 pounds because what she was doing was all ab work. She got louder and she got smaller. She's been working out. Listen, she's constantly doing Kegel exercises. She has the strongest diaphragm on the planet. Matter of fact, it was a transplant probably from Andre the Giant because he was the strongest man on this earth at some particular point. Listen, that's all she does is holler. For me, that's all she does.
Michelle, now listen, I like you, but what we're not going to do, you're welcome to talk positively about Kelly Price. But what we are not going to do is have fucking Jennifer Hudson slander in this spot. So you're welcome to say you love Kelly Price, but you are not welcome to say negative things about Jennifer Hudson.
Listen, I
don't care. I'm not one of those people. I am not going to fight nobody over who the fuck they like, whatever. But yes, if I was forced to choose, I would choose Jennifer Hudson. Anyway, Kelly Price sang her fucking face off. She sang the house down. She really turned the girls out. Then you could, because I was at there was some of us at the stage. This woman next to her, this woman, I think she was one of the girls. She put her arm around me. She was like 6'4", so I think she was.
Really, Eric? J-Hud? Oh, sister, we will have to have some conversation.
Thank you, Manga. Thank you. Listen, I see. Listen, I see somebody face around here. And of course, my baby Dylan is going to go with Jennifer Hudson because he knows.
I'm laughing at Devin because Devin's now bringing. See, that's why you hang around with your bristlets. They be telling all your business and shit. Baby, you ain't got to tell nobody I got into a motherfucking mark.
You got a fight over Janet Jackson?
Bitch, it wasn't a fight. I just shut it the fuck down. That's what the fuck it was. We shut it the fuck down.
So from the side stage, you could see them giving Kelly, it was like, last song. Bitch, this is the last song. Because the museum, I mean, this was after hours, and I'm sure the people at the museum was like, bitch, y'all need to be out of here by 11:45 because we ain't going to be here all night cleaning up after you girls. And it was like 11:36. So they were like, you got one more song. And then she was like, what song should I sing? So me and the girl next to me was like, sing Tired. And then she was like, I'm not sure what song. Sing Tired. What song should I sing? We was like, sing Tired. And then she was like, I'm not sure. We was like, sing Tired. 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 And we're literally like, she's right there. There's no way she did not see me and this woman who's like 6'3". Sing Tired. And she's saying, As We Lay. Now, she turned it out. She turned it out. So I'm not like mad that she's saying As We Lay, but if she had started out,
if she'd have sang Secret, because I might have to go back and listen to that whole album. I got a secret. One can oh my God. Come on, she was singing. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Come on, I'm sorry.
If she had started out, there's a hole in my heart. Me and that girl next to me, we might have just fainted dead away on the spot. Because she turned us all the way out. And then
like this, like Vote. When I pass out, throw these panties on the stage. There you go. Okay, all right.
Right. And give them to her husband. I then like she left and like immediately Robin Robinson or whatever her name was got up on the stage. She was like, all right, thank y'all for coming out. God bless you. Good night. They turned up the house lights and people like the staff was like, okay, the museum is closed. Like they started pushing people out.
Everybody out this way, exit this way,
exactly.
this way, ma'am, this way.
But
ma'am.
it was an awesome thing, and I hope no one from Gilead listens to this, so I get invited back next year.
Oh, damn it!
Exactly, we should have counted up the cost, but instead we were thinking in the second, in the aisle, hey, as we lay, baby, she turned us so far out, you wouldn't even believe it.
Listen,
so then the rest of the weekend was cool. It was the Brista's birthday on Saturday, so we went to this spot called the Unconventional Diner, which was cute. And then we went to some place across the street and had drinks and everything. So overall, that was good. And then on Sunday, I spent time with the boyfriend. So he was like, you know what? We should check out this new sauna that I found called Parkside, which I had heard about. And I already knew from Sniffies that Parkside was shenanigan-y.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't that the shenanigans place? Okay, but all right.
It's also still a legitimate spot now. So, but so it's like, it has the same setup as Spa World, but clean and much smaller. So, you walk in, you still put your shoes in the men's shoe locker, just like you do at King Spa. And then, you got to get naked if you want to get in the pool. But they only have 2 pools, a cold pool and a hot pool, a dry sauna and a wet sauna. So me coming in, knowing that the spot is shenanigan-y, I was already like, because I was like, I need to have something to talk about on the fucking show. So I'm like looking, like, is anybody giving us the eye? How is this going? I was like, because I didn't know if Azamek had taken his cage off or not, because I was like, that would have definitely, brought some stares and stuff. But he had taken it off because just didn't want to. Plus, that hot water on a chastity device, like the skin's already sensitive, and like if that cage heats up, it's like having hot things on your penis. So, but so you walk in and they don't have like the open showers against the wall the way they do at King Spa. They have a shower room. So like your locker room from when you was in high school with, like 5 shower heads on this wall, 5 shower heads on this wall. But the room was pretty small. So you almost had to brush up against people. Like, because people started filling in from the front, working their way back. So when me and Azamet got there, we had to go to the back of the shower room to get to the showers. And I'm basically almost rubbing shoulders with these naked men as you come in. And of course,
I mean, was any of them cute?
Many of them were cute.
Okay.
Of course, they're all showering, right? And, and when we walked in, every eye was like,
they did the gay.
And I was like, bitch, every homosexual on here and a few of the girls and a few of the ladies know that look.
That look that says,
because everybody's like showering. So the water's like right here at you. And you're sort of doing that sort of, I'm not interested in all of these naked men standing on either side of me. I'm really not interested, but I'm very interested. So I'm just going to wash myself. You could tell who the bottoms were because they paid special attention to make sure they got plenty of soap in their butt crack. I was like, this one dude, I was like, if your ass is that dirty, I feel like you should have did that when you got here. Because otherwise you were spending a lot of time soaping up your butt crack. That's all I'm saying. But we walked in and all eyes turned up, and they didn't stop what they were doing, which was like fresh meat. And I looked at Azamek, and Azamek looked at me, and we was like, bitch, we know what the game is. So anyway, so we cleaned up, we got into the warm pool, and then so you're sitting in the warm pool, and to the left is the dry sauna and the wet sauna. Now,
okay.
A bitch is observant. That is my superpower, is observation. Observation of shenanigans. I will say that is my superpower. I will be like, because your brain just sees stuff.
It's the genetics of the gays. It's always yeah.
Right. Your brain just sees stuff. And then at some point, your brain recognizes a pattern. Like when you used to go to Bally's, right? And it didn't occur to you at first that, okay, you just didn't notice that, okay, people were coming out and going into the sauna, right? But then when you took in the middle of your actual workout, because you're actually paying money for this membership, so you're actually working out, so you stop to go refill your water and go to the bathroom, and then you notice people going back and forth to the steam room and the shower. Then that maybe happens 2 times, and then so at the end of your workout, you are in the locker room again, about to get changed, because I generally don't take a shower, at the gym. I go home where I can luxuriate and have my whole naked fat body, which was significantly heavier then, and I can just get naked and don't lift the titty up and get under there and do everything that I need to do. But it was then that my brain put together the pattern that the same dudes that I saw going in and out of the shower and steam room when I first arrived were the same dudes that was going in and out of the shower and steam room when I was going to get water or use the bathroom, which was the same dudes that was going in and out of the shower when I was getting dressed to leave. And so I was like, shenanigans. And so I noticed a pattern here too. So here's the pattern. So I'm sitting here in the in the hot tub and noticing that people will go into the steam room. And I was like, bitch, is this like a clown car? Because I was like, how many people does this sauna room hold? And then I would notice that people would come out of the shower room and no one had a full erection, but there were quite a few chubbies. Like, like you know how it is. You know, like you've been aroused. And I was like, something is going on in this here sauna. So
pause and listen, this is not just this particular club. This has been proven across the country. And I'm gonna go ahead and break some faces. Crack some faces. Nichelle, yes, even at our Bally's and our LA Fitness, yes, it was going on. The ones that were in Greenbelt and the ones that were downtown. Yes, indeed.
Oh, definitely the one in Greenbelt. Oh, she was infamous. The only one more infamous than the one in Greenbelt was the one on L Street downtown.
The one on L Street had the security guard in there, but then that motherfucker participated a couple times. But that's a whole nother story.
That part.
Sorry.
He threw you out if he didn't think you was cute, or if he wanted to fuck you and you was like, no, girl. Mm-mm. So then he was like, you can't be in here. So, but anyway, fuck him. Anyway, so I made my way into the sauna, and of course, I got to wear glasses because if I don't have these on and it's steamy, then I literally can see nothing. So it was better to have these on and have them steamed up than not be able to see at all. And the room was packed with dudes, but there was a space on the lower tier, and I sat down, but I didn't want to stay on the lower tier because I assumed per the gay, we all know the gay rules, right? And what is Uncle Clifford's gay rule 69.32? Don't sit on the bottom bench in the steam room unless you want to suck dick.
Listen.
I don't want to suck dick. So as soon as someone got up from the upper bench, I relocated and I kept looking back, and because like out of the corner of my eye through the steam, I kept seeing like movement, but it wasn't like
what the fuck it was because you couldn't tell.
Right. I was like, what's happening here? What's going on? And then so finally, when I got up and sat on the upper deck, and everybody was like sort of together, baby, people were full on giving hand jobs and blow jobs. No one was fucking because it was hot as shit in there. But honestly, I say like 25 minutes in the sauna, which is the longest I've ever been in the sauna, because normally I go in and I'm just like, no. But it was too interesting to me what was going on in there. So I was like,
bitch, I remember to the sauna in Philadelphia at the old club body, and there was a motherfucker in that wet sauna room and had poppers. And baby, when I tell you he stayed in there forever, and I was like, you gonna die.
Yeah.
You gonna happen, this motherfucker, you gonna die. You gonna die. You gonna die.
And I'm not gonna be here to help you. So very shenanigan-y. I will, and it's cheaper too, because it's only $30 to get in there.
Oh.
Well, exactly. So, yes, I was there with my boyfriend, and we could have very well carried on in the steam room. But I intend to go back when I am I didn't feel unfree to explore with him there, but I also felt like I still respect our relationship. And while, yes, I'm the master, he's the slave, on that level, yes, but we're also just boyfriends together. And we came there together, so I can't just hang out all day in the steam room and just leave him sitting there by his lonesome. He don't really talk to people no way, so he would have been like Eric sitting in the car for an hour while you was off with your friends having big fun.
Bitch. Yeah. But or if it was even if it was you or I, it's like, the thing for us is, for most people that I'm hanging, at some point we break off and like, bitch, the game plan is to meet back at such and such a time or do whatever, and bitch, go with God. Everybody, all hands in our head, team break, go.
Everybody, right, but that's not that don't work with the boyfriend. So he's gonna. I mean, it's okay to be gone for like 15 minutes, but after that, I was like, okay, I should probably find Azamek and keep it moving. But I was like, okay, I know this place is shenanigan-y, so I'm going to test it out a couple of times. It's over in Annandale, so I feel like I'm going to go like on a Tuesday night or something, just to see how it is during the week, and then I'm gonna go back like on a Friday night to see.
Like that's a different type of person at Annandale. I don't know how I feel about that. but I
Is
mean,
what?
I feel like it's a different type of person than Anna Dillon. I feel like it's gonna be like I'm not really
I
interested.
will say that there were some very attractive black men around our age or a little younger there. There were also some younger black guys, a couple of attractive Latino guys, and a couple of really like John Holmes sized white guys. Like I'm usually not, I mean, I am a dick watcher, but I am rarely impressed by penises, because that's really not my ministry. But one dude walked out and baby, it was a swinging from a side to side. And I was like, please don't hit me with that elephant trunk. And he was one of the ones that I kept seeing because he kept staying. That was what he was doing because you get overheated in that steam room. So he was one of the ones that kept coming out with like a chubby, and he got a big dick. So for him, a chubby is as big as some people's regular dick. So he would go take a dip in the cool pool, sit for a minute, and then go back in the steam room.
But
So
you're gonna be hotter than the motherfucker.
Right, but he was the one that established the pattern for me because I was like, something's going on that every time this man comes out of this room, his dick is almost hard. So, anyway, let's get to these couple of stories.
That's a lot. Yes, let's do that. So listen, Shirley Strawberry, from Steve Harvey Morning Show, her husband has an alleged mistress, and there were jailhouse calls that were recorded. So listen, radio co-host Shirley Strawberry's incarcerated husband, Ernesto Williams, spoke sexual sweet nothings to a random woman on the phone, now speculated to be his mistress. Shirley is the co-host of the Steve Harvey Morning Show, and the 69-year-old Chicago native runs a segment called Strawberry Letter, where she discusses listeners' issues ranging from marital, dating related, familial, and more discussions. Now, amid this conversation, Ernesto allegedly told his alleged mistress, "I sure miss some good ass pussy, though. I'm not gonna lie." He explicitly also said, "When that thing get hot, just pat it." So he's in jail, being Mr. Dirty Old Man, and the Ernesto Cuts entrepreneur asked the mystery woman to send his favorite photo of her lying in bed in a tank top and another picture of her wearing glasses. He said, "I like all of them, to be honest." He said, "But them pictures are more important to me than the goddamn commissary." So, but now the entrepreneur, he rambled about the lovers' communication and they talk every day. Towards the end of the call, he said, "This is a man's dream." He also gushed over the woman's looks, her unique style, and her aura. Now, Sandra Rose reported that on September 8th that a promo for September 11th, Strawberry Letter had hinted that Shirley and Ernesto's drama would be the focus. So that was 2 days ago. So if anybody has listened to this, please tell me what's going on. Now, the title of the segments was supposedly, "I didn't know my life was a real live Strawberry Letter." And the online outlet claimed that in the teaser, Shirley said it's about to get real. And I'm sorry, Steve said that it's about to get real. And the co-host would discuss what got said and how everybody felt. Now, in July, Sandra Rose reported that Ernesto pled guilty to the previous month to being a felon in possession of a weapon. It was also reported that the entrepreneur and longtime barber was sentenced to 23 months in prison. The Jasmine brand claimed September 7th that Ernesto is currently incarcerated for several alleged crimes, including fraud, theft, gun possession, and child pornography. Now, several leaked jailhouse phone calls between Ernesto and the two women in his life, allegedly recorded between October 22nd and July 23rd, have opened up a world of chaos. Now, in a call between Shirley and her entrepreneurial husband, the co-host claimed Steve was, quote unquote, scared of his wife, Marjorie. She additionally implied that Steve liked to have company over, but Marjorie was against it because she viewed her husband's employees as the help. Shirley also described how greatly Harvey's home was decked out for Marjorie. Now, it was said Marjorie has her own spa and her own workout room, and she could go in there and get massages every day. People come to her house and work her out, and all of that. And I was like, oh God, what a dream! This is what Shirley was saying. She said Steve was happy to see us. He always invites us over there, and we don't ever go because I don't know if she's there. She's nope. She looks at it like the help, and it is what it is. And that was some of her words of what she was saying. Shirley and Ernesto got married in 2015 on Ernesto's birthday. Ernesto popped the question the prior year while the co-host was live on air. And just as a closeout, the messiness of his alleged jailhouse phone calls seems like it's going to continue unfolding, and especially in light of the recorded Juicy Strawberry letter scheduled earlier this week. So if anybody has tuned in and knew what happened, please give us an update, because I would love to know.
This is just very messy. So my first question is, who the fuck was recording these calls?
Listen, we not,
because they weren't. I don't think that does the jail record your calls? Yes, but who released those calls? Because
I mean, if somebody paid him enough money, I'm sure he probably would have released the calls, whoever it was.
So I don't know what kind of money Shirley Strawberry got, but Shirley need to be suing somebody, because those calls are recorded, but they're recorded for the purposes of ensuring that no illegal activity is going down, not to expose people's personal business. So why did those calls ever make it to air? And if she thinks Marjorie didn't like her ass before, but and then she sure as hell don't like her now.
But you know, the other thing with it could have been a situation where the phone calls were played to a bunch of people and they transcribed what it was. So it wasn't like it was actually released. So it could have been anything. But you know, people are going to do anything strange, you know, strange for a little change.
But didn't they actually say they played the recordings?
Yes. Listen.
Yeah, so somebody had those recordings. So somehow
recorded it.
You know, information that should have been only in the possession of the jail ended up in somebody else's hands and ended up in the public. So somebody need to be sued.
That very well may be true, but it's still some messy, juicy stuff that's going on, and that's what I'm laughing at.
And you know, at first, because I didn't read, you know, you posted these stories so late, I didn't get a chance to read them ahead of time. So
So we just gonna glaze over that. That's what we're gonna do. We just
gonna dash over that. We're 100% dashing over that. So we at first I was like, oh, okay, well maybe the girlfriend did this as, you know, some way to get back or whatever. But when the second letter between Shirley and her husband, I was like, oh, somebody recorded this and borrowed those recordings. So none of that was, I mean, is he cheating on his girlfriend? Yeah, sure. Okay, fine, whatever. I mean, that's none of my affair.
Cheating on his girlfriend.
Cheating on his wife with his girlfriend. But my point is, it's the invasion of privacy. You know, she need to deal with her man too, but she need to deal with this invasion of privacy too. So there needs to be some sort of an inquiry and an investigation. And I hope she she has retained a lawyer to address that.
Listen, we'll figure it out, and if it comes out in the news, we'll listen. We'll get it. We'll get the information and what was said allegedly, because if there were some private recordings, you know, we shouldn't have it. So we'll find out.
So, well, and I don't care for Steve Harvey, so I've never listened to that show even a day in my life, so I don't really care. So
he's been on a couple of stations and a couple.
Oh no, I'm well aware. I mean, you know, I remember back in college we used to listen to Tom Joyner, but then. It's so funny because I got older and Tom Joyner got older, but Tom Joyner suddenly one day seemed old to me. And like the show seemed like a show that old people listen to.
He instantly became Mr. Old Negro Spiritual. I got it.
He literally did. And I'm just like they even start their shows now with like prayers and shit. And I'm just like, is this something my grandmother would listen to? So anyway.
We're gonna dash over that as well. We're gonna keep away from the prayers with you, but okay. Mm-hmm. So this next story was a Delta flight where had to return after a passenger had a moment. So footage has emerged on the onboard medical emergency that forced a U.S. airliner back to Atlanta only 2 hours into its flight to Spain. A messy trail of diarrhea by a struggling passenger. Maintenance crews spent 5 hours cleaning the Delta Airlines Airbus A350 after its enforced early landing, including replacing an aisle carpet ruined in the incident. Now, passengers reportedly, including the one suffering diarrhea, were allowed to reboard after an 8-hour delay. making it to Barcelona on Saturday afternoon with no further incident. Now, accounts from some of the onboard, or some onboard posted to social media describe flight crew doing their best to mop up the mess with paper towels and scented disinfectant, but that only had the effect of making the plane, quote unquote, smell of vanilla shit, one passenger said. Whew. Another described cabin crew placing an absorbent paper runner over the aisle and passengers having to climb over seats to avoid it as they left the plane in Atlanta. An audio recording of a conversation between the pilot and air traffic control revealed the reason for the jet's sudden turnaround over Central Virginia. And they're quoted as saying, "It's just a biohazard issue," the pilot said. "We had a passenger who had diarrhea all the way through the plane, so they want us to come back to Atlanta." The audio was posted on X, formerly Twitter, along with an image of the Federal Aviation Authority flight strip confirming the reason for the U-turn. Delta Airlines blamed an onboard medical issue. Our teams worked as quickly as safely as possible to get our customers to their final destination. We sincerely apologize to our customers for the delay and inconvenience for their travel plans. The incident came a week after.
Don't get it. And here's what I don't get.
They came.
What I don't get.
Hold on. All right. A week after, Air Canada apologized to 2 passengers who were booted from a flight from Seattle to Montreal because they complained about being made to sit in seats covered with vomit.
I'm gonna need to see pictures to define covered in vomit, but even a little bit of vomit is too much. I mean, there is not an acceptable level of vomit that is okay. But I'm like, if I was having diarrhea on a plane, I don't know why was this person tracing up and down the aisle. I feel like I would have stayed my ass in the bathroom, or I would have been like, stewardess, flight attendant, I need some assistance here. I mean, I just feel like I wouldn't have left the bathroom once I was.
Apparently, the person got up and went to the bathroom.
Oh, so the toilet was on the way to the bathroom.
Yeah, it was, and the pictures that showed it was going all the way towards the back.
This is why I tend not to eat stuff that I'm not familiar with in the airport. So it's like, baby, I know Five Guys won't fuck me up too bad, so I will only have Five Guys. I'm not eating at none of these off-brand airport restaurants or no shit like that. I'm not having anything complex, or whatever, because this will be, normally my stomach is like a brick and I can eat anything, but this will be the one time where she wants to carry on.
You better say it. And baby, I don't like the idea of shitting on a plane anyway.
No,
granted, I know
you want to get out of my seat because I'm in the window seat, so I try not to get out of my seat at all if I can avoid it.
Listen, all I know is the amount of space in that bathroom when I go to pee gives me some guff. So I can't imagine trying to sit my ass down, sit on this seat, get comfortable while the plane is bumping and jumping in some air turbulence. Then I got to use this little piece of paper they give you, because they don't give you like real toilet paper. They give you
that half-ply toilet paper.
Ugh, that just don't work for me. And so that's a miserable trip for me. I just can't imagine it. I just can't imagine it.
Yeah.
So, nope, I ain't doing it. Anyway, this next story. So the VMAs happened last night, and I don't know if you all knew, but Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B did for the first time the new song Bongos. Now, if you haven't seen the video, baby, go check out the video. Go check out the promos for it, because baby, listen, both Megan and Cardi look amazing.
I've not seen it yet.
Oh, but listen, go check it out. They look amazing. I personally feel, I think that Cardi looks cute, but I think Megan looks amazing. And Megan's like, she makes Cardi look like a damn ant, because Megan's so tall, and maybe it's just because Cardi's so short. But baby, they look amazing, both of them. Let me be clear. And the song is cute. They did a whole bunch of costume changes or whatever. But anyway, they were getting ready to. They were at the VMAs and they performed it there. So this video right here, or this story that came from NBC San Diego, saying that they had a viral videos at the VMAs where people thought they were arguing. it was based off of, it was an interaction that happened between Megan and Justin. Now, after a moment between Megan Thee Stallion and Justin Timberlake backstage at the MTV VMAs went viral, the two addressed their alleged beef and cleared it up. Now, in the video, you see Megan on the left, and you see Justin as well as some of the other members of NSYNC on the right that's going past her. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, you then see someone adjusting Megan's hair and like fixing it, trying to do something to her hair. And you see Megan's hand come across and just going like this. And she's like, but you can't really see her face, but then you do see her face. So it looks like she's saying, bitch, I'm gonna fuck you up. Like it looks like she's like doing that. That's how it looks. But if you look at her face, it wasn't really saying that. And right. what Megan was saying after the video went out and people were saying that they had beef, she said her response was, I just talk with my hands, which is what she wrote on the Instagram post. And she was saying at Justin Timberlake, I love you. You know, she's like, I'll talk to you later. And in the front facing camera video, she and Timberlake sit next to each other and laugh while their words are drowned out by the sound of Fukai Mora's Do As Infinity. The duo's warm, intimate body language is meant to refute whatever it was interpreted by spectators during the VMAs. Now, as I mentioned, Justin was coming off stage with some of the other NSYNC members, and Joey Fatone was one of the members that looked like he kind of chimed in as well. And it's not 100% clear on what was actually said, but what Megan also said was, she was saying that what she also said to him was, no, we can't meet like this, not like this. We need to meet and be properly introduced. And so I kind of understand that, but maybe if you look at the video, it look like it can go either way. So we shall see, but it looks a little interesting to me.
Well, all righty then. Well, I don't really care, honestly. You know, I still, you know, well, I still don't fuck with Justin too tough like that. So
well, and so that's the thing. Like with Megan, I think I'm feeling more so like, even if something went down, she probably is definitely triggered because of, again, all the crap with Tory Lanez and all that other stuff. And, you know, Megan being that stand-up, you know, she's I'm not gonna say the stand-up girl, but she's not a snitch. She's not a snitch. And when she did snitch, it was like, bitch, I've been trying to hold on to this, bitch. You know, gave me no other option, bitch. And so I'm getting ready to, you know, just let it all out. So
right. And so since I don't really fuck with Justin, you know, he can catch fire for all I care. So
listen, Justin is,
I mean, I'm not, you know, he ain't pull my titty out on national TV. So
I you know, I've liked what I've liked from him, and that's it. But all right. That's right. Really.
Well, all right, baby, I am tired. We need to wrap this up because I have had a day, and then I'm headed to the Los Angeles tomorrow morning at 6:45. So I got to be up, but I am packed, and I got everything in a carry-on bag.
One carry-on bag.
Here goes this bitch.
I just want to clarify. Listen, I just clarify where we are. Are you telling me that
if I said a carry-on bag, what the fuck does that mean? That means
carry-on bag. His carry-on? Great. Let me rephrase the question. Are you checking any other bags?
No.
You're not checking any other bags. You're taking one carry-on.
I'm taking a carry-on and an underseat bag like I am allowed.
Okay.
What? I feel like there's judgment. No, I am sensing judgment and animosity, and I do not appreciate it.
How long are you staying in LA?
Until Monday.
Until Monday. Okay, so that's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
I don't appreciate all of this sort of, it's the innuendo for me. For me.
Do you hear what he's saying? Listen. When these boys start talking, they start telling you shit like they're gonna pull out. Listen. Mm-hmm.
That is just so rude. Anyway, let us show this beautiful bean footage because you done unset my spirit now.
Listen, I got to go ahead and point this out because, listen, I didn't say it. I was just repeating what was said. Bougie had this cheetah comment and he shipped his real shit to the hotel.
No, I saw it. I saw it. And no, all of my stuff is in this bag. And since y'all don't believe it, I will post the pictures, since I can't depend on my third best friend and my good high school Judy to believe me when I say I'm only going to have my carry-on bag and my personal item. But it's okay. It's all right. It's not right. Let's just be clear. It's not right.
But it's okay.
But it's okay.
Gotcha.
I am going to make it anyway.
You've packed your bags and shipped them out to leave because you're not going to come back with anything less than 3. Ah! Come on, somebody.
And with that, I will say thank y'all for coming out. God bless you and good night.
Bye, y'all. Hey, Eccentric.
Bye.